In this lesson, we're going to have a look at creating asset data. But before we jump in and have a look at what goes in a UDT, let's just have a quick overview of what we expect to be in there. We'll go into this in more depth in the next video that's in this lesson when we actually look at Tier Portal. But here we have a representation of a quarter turn valve in various different states, and we have a corresponding UDT. So one of the things to realize is that every asset in our asset orientated programming design should have a corresponding UDT. Now we'll see that as we go through the course and we look at how stuff is put together and how things sort of are nested and inherited and things like that, that you will have UDTs within UDTs. And we can see that here, that we have things like UDT valve alarms that are inside our UDT quarter turn valve. We have things like UDT asset operation mode, and we'll go through these in the next video, and you can see what's inside these as well. But really what we're trying to get at is, if we think about things such as this has a closed state, an open state, and together they are healthy. And then we also have our corresponding failed statuses, like how do we control those? What data do we need to get them in those states, to get them out of those states, to manage the alarms, to manage the status reporting to HMIs, things such as auto requests from automated control systems, manual requests. There is quite a lot to think about, but once you start building these and you get into that sort of design flow, you will realize that a lot of them are the same. And when we start looking at building and designing our own UDTs, something called finding the commonality between assets becomes important. That's how you end up with things such as this UDT asset operation mode, which can be used by multiple different assets because it does the same thing for every single one. So ultimately what we're trying to do is turn what our asset can do, what it can report, how it interacts with our systems. We're trying to turn all of that into a common UDT that sets out all of the data requirements for the functions that these assets provide or interact with.